Hello YouTube and welcome back to the Tesla Prince. Today I'm going to do a little bit of catch up and we are going to discuss a few trips that I made from the Prince George BC area down to Kamloops. I made two sort of major trips, and you can see here on the Google Maps there's a number of ways you can get there. I took Highway 5A. And I took it purposefully because I'd never taken that route before. It is the longer one according to Google Maps here, 6 hours 40 minutes. And it goes through some pretty cool mountain ranges. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cover two sections. The first section will be back in, I believe it was February. And the other one would be in April. So in February is right in the middle of winter time, and I drove down this route with my wife, and I was doing some testing for the C-Tech charger for a company in China, and we'll go over the stats for that. And then the second section of this video, I did the same trip in April, and I had my first service call with Tesla Service. And so we have basically a wintertime trip, we have a spring/summertime trip, and we'll take a look at the statistics and learn a bunch of things. And for anyone who wants to travel up Highway 5A, it's a very beautiful drive, and we will discuss where I charged and what you can do. I did learn a lot by doing this trip twice. So with that, again, you can see there's like 3 different ways you can go. A lot of people will take Highway 97 and go down to 100 Mile House, and then you can go across, I believe it's Highway 24 over to Little Fort, or you can continue down to Cache Creek and cut across. I believe at some point this year in 2021, there should be superchargers from Prince George all the way down to Cache Creek, so it will be the fastest route. Although for now, there's a lot of traffic that takes that highway, so going the Yellowhead Highway and then down 5A towards Kamloops, not only is it a gorgeous drive, but there's way less traffic than you're going to see in any other route. So let's just take a look. We'll start off with some pictures. I will put some of the video clips that I captured on my cell phone at the tail end after this little talk, and you'll be able to see the clips both from the winter and the spring trip. So some of these pictures, I'll just go through it this way. This is me traveling at, I believe this is McBride, and it was pretty snowy and pretty cold. It was pretty sketchy. And you can see this was using that C-Tech CCS adapter for my Tesla Model 3, and I was getting 46 kilowatts using that adapter, even though it was -2 out. So it's a pretty decent adapter. And you can see my charge rate, I was at 52%. And continuing on here, this is me leaving McBride. That's the sign there at the city. And continuing on here, this video clip, I'll just bypass it, but that would have been here in Valemont, BC. This was the next place that I stopped at. And yeah, it's pretty crucial charging station, I would say, for any kind of trip going up Highway 5A. And again, getting 40 kilowatts with that C-Tech charger. And I'll skip this video clip. And here's me getting 37 kilowatts. And now this is, I did stop a lot more times in the winter, mostly because I had never stopped at these charging stations and I wanted to document the experience. So this is now Blue River. And this is kind of hilarious. There's just all of these trucks were just loaded up with snowmobiles. And I guess anyone that lives on Highway 5A, that must be the main thing you do in the winter is snowmobiling. Just never seen so many trucks in my life decked out with these snowmobiles. And so this was in Blue River, and I'll skip past this video. The BC Hydro charger is right at the Petro Canada gas station. It's literally here on the left, and there's that hotel over there, and then just over here you'll see the sign, And here's the BC Hydro charger, and I will say this is probably the coolest BC Hydro charger I've seen. It has the little retractable metal wire on it, so it kind of automatically pulls back the charging cables to where it hangs there. So that, I think every BC Hydro charger should do that. It kind of cleans up the cables automatically really well. Anyway, this is me charging there in Blue River. Then this was a rest area on the way. I think this was wire cache rest area. I think that's what it was called. A very beautiful rest area. Really couldn't see much in the winter, but there's a river right beside this parking area. There's a nice bathroom there. There's two 25 kilowatt chargers. There's some slower J1772s. Really nice rest area. And that was my first time charging there. And of course, this place actually has a payphone. I haven't seen one of these in probably 10 years, so I was kind of shocked to see it. It wasn't working, it was damaged. Let's get past that video. And now we get to, this was Little Fort. And just pointing out that this does have 50 kilowatt chargers, but it also has this old Sun Country charger. I believe this is just a regular J1772. Probably was there before those other chargers, and this is where I charged at. The ABB Ministry of Transportation chargers, awesome to charge there. This area at Little Fort, a little bit more sketchy and dark, but nice picnic area. There's bathrooms there and still decent, but a little bit more secluded compared to some of the other ones. Okay, we'll keep going here and getting 38 kilowatts on the charger there. And now here is me at the Canadian Tire. So I was charging at Electrify Canada, and I was using that C-Tech adapter. And the C-Tech adapter at the time of this video only goes up to a maximum of 50 kilowatts, even though these chargers, not these ones, but I believe the Petro chargers, they go up to like 100 or more, but maybe 350 even. But the C-Tech adapter does not exceed 50 at this time. So this is at the Canadian Tire in Kamloops, otherwise known as Electrify Canada. And they charge a pretty penny there, getting 43 kilowatts. And you can see here, I guess CCS goes up to 150 on these ones. So I was hoping to get a little faster than that 43, but not supported by the adapter. There's a little deer running across the road at the Canadian Tire. And just looking at the kilowatts, 39, whatever. And another picture of Electrify Canada, blah, blah, blah. And then this is the next day. So stayed at a hotel overnight, and this is now at the Petro Canada on the south side of Highway 1. And these are the fast chargers, and I was trying them out. They work just fine with the C-Tech adapter. And you can see this CCS goes up to 350. So once again, would have been really great if the C-Tech adapter supported it, but currently does not. Both CHAdeMO and CCS adapters, the CHAdeMO from Tesla, the CCS from C-Tech, they both only go up to 50 kilowatts currently. Unless you have, I think, a Model X or a Model S, and then I think it might go a little faster according to their website, but I don't have that. So you can see me charging here with the CHAdeMO. I was doing some comparisons. I have a video talking about cold weather charging. You can see some of those clips there. Anyway, getting 37 kilowatts with the CHAdeMO. And now this is me supercharging at the Kamloops Tesla supercharger right near the Aberdeen Mall. Skip past any video clips, and this is me looking from the, I believe the Tourism Kamloops building facing towards the superchargers. And you can see a Sun Country J1772, little guy there for any other EVs that need to charge at this spot. And this is now facing the tourism building. There's that Sun Country charger and a little sign here talking about EV charging, kind of cool. And now I'm leaving Kamloops, heading back home. And again, this is in February, so Kamloops is very mild. It was about 0 degrees when I left Kamloops, and by the time I got home it was quite cold, and maybe we'll see some of that. But again, in my cold weather charging video, I talk about all those stats, but we will revisit those stats and compare the wintertime to the summertime statistics for the same drive. So a little bit more slush, a little bit more snow as we start getting closer to Barrier, city of Barrier. Now we're in Little Fort, and you can see there's quite a bit more snow, a bit colder. Charging up there at the Ministry of Transportation charger at Little Fort. And this one was in Blue River, I believe. And heading on past Blue River, just driving on the highway towards Valemont. Some beautiful scenery there. And then here we are in Valemont, and there was a Chevy Bolt, but he was not, I guess he was plugged in, but he was finished, I think, something like that. Or no, maybe he wasn't plugged in, I don't remember. Anyway, it wasn't charging. The charging session had already stopped, and so thankfully I plugged in because I was very low at this point. Temperature is getting colder and colder as it's driving north. You can see up here is minus 11. So we started off at around 0 in Kamloops, and here I am heading, just having left Valemont, heading towards McBride, and it's, over 12-degree drop in the same day. And I didn't charge up that much at Valemont. I was wanting to do my main charging in McBride, and that was a mistake. Here I am, somewhere near Dunster, and I've got 4% charge. And I kept getting warnings all along the way. So don't play games when it's cold out, because it was very windy, it was very snowy, it was very cold, and that was draining my battery, and I was getting nervous. So here we are getting closer to McBride, 4%. And you can see I get here to McBride, and it's like very low battery. Sentry mode disabled. What did I have here? Somehow I had 5%, whereas before I said 4%. So I think I drove really slow on purpose to get some range back. And it's minus 10 here. It gets a lot worse on this trip when we get closer to Prince George. So this one... Yeah, we'll look at that video later. Okay, so I took a screenshot of my cell phone for some reason. What was it for? Oh yeah, okay. To show I was charging in McBride when I was at 4%, 47 kilowatts again. Even though it was minus like 12, it was actually colder. I think it was about minus 15. But that didn't slow down my charging when I had a low state of charge, interestingly enough. Probably the battery was warm enough, I guess. But that was interesting. And here I am arriving. No, what was this? This is me charging up to 80% at McBride, getting 49 kilowatts, and it's minus 8 at this point. So, and then here's me arriving home in Prince George with 20%. It's very blurry. Sorry about that. Minus 16 degrees Celsius. And yeah, driving temporarily downgraded. Feature may be restored on next drive. Not sure why I was getting that, but that was on the way home. Hadn't quite arrived home yet, but I was getting some weird error message. It was quite cold. Temperature had dropped again. I started the day off at 0 degrees Celsius, which is freezing, right at the freezing point. And I arrived home at minus 16 Celsius around there. So actually minus 17, 10% range left, and battery low, significantly less energy from your battery if it gets colder. You better believe those warnings. Tesla's not playing around. And I think that was probably it. So those are the pictures for the drive from Prince George to Kamloops and back in February. Can see here there were 18 drives between those 2 days, 1,283 kilometers. Rated kilometers was 2,004, but I actually drove 1,283, 64% overall efficiency, 13 and a half hours of driving on and on. Average temperature was minus 4, but like I said, it ranged from 0 to minus 16. It was just a wild drive. And so if we look at these statistics again, this is the same snapshot of what I have in my video where I talk about cold weather charging, and all the stats here. So you can see as the outside temperature is colder, your efficiency is dropping, right? So, well, it's low anyways, somewhat. But there is also, of course, your maximum speed, average speed here plays a factor. So I believe even though I was colder at this stretch, because I dropped my speed, my efficiency was higher. So there's those two factors. But then as it started warming up, my efficiency started picking up, right? Getting close to zero. And again, a number of factors. There was wind as well and whatnot. But definitely when the outside temperature was around, you can skip some of these because it's just driving around town, which sometimes it's not very efficient. But yeah, these three are just kind of nothing. But then dropping down here, again, these are all city driving, I guess. No. This is now the next day driving back home, I believe. Yes. So speeds were 88, 109, and yeah, the temperatures were getting colder and colder. But that's interesting. It didn't always follow the temperature and speed, I guess. Well, here I did drive a little bit faster, and my efficiency went down, even though the temperature outside was only -1. So yeah, not too sure what to say about that. I think that's why I had this color coding. I couldn't explain everything. Could have been just the wind and the slush as well, because it was getting more slushy, more snow, more wind, and that definitely would have had an impact, especially heading back up the highway. But overall, I had to stop a lot more in the winter than I did in the summer. And I'll post a stat to this spreadsheet so you can look at these statistics if you care about this drive. Let's take a look now at the exact same drive I did in the spring. And this would be in April 20th and 21st. So, spring almost getting close to summer. And so here we are in the first picture. This is me. I left Prince George, arriving at Slim Creek. I just did a very quick charge. Someone mentioned these chargers weren't working, but they were working just fine. So I was only there for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And then this is now at Tête Jaune. So this is where Highway 16, the Yellowhead Highway, allows you to turn south, and this is the beginning of Highway 5A. It's northernmost part of Highway 5A, and this is overlooking those mountains at the Tête Jaune junction. Very beautiful here on this overpass bridge. So I took a picture, and this is now the rest area called the Terry Fox Rest Area, just north of Valemont. This rest area should be getting a Ministry of Transportation charger sometime this year in 2021. And just some beautiful mountains looking towards Valemont, towards the south. And this is Highway 5A looking southward. This is now we're in Valemont, and I'm charging up here. You can see all the snow on the ground is gone. Only in the mountains is there snow left. And beautiful area, just 360-degree view of gorgeous mountains. And then I just continued, and this is basically the kind of thing you see as you drive up and down Highway 5A. Some really big mountains. These photos just do not do justice. The entire panorama view of the southern sky was this gigantic snow-covered peak. There's a semi-truck there parked on the side just so you can see the scale. And just driving down. And now this is me at the Little Fort rest area. So I didn't stop at the Wire Cache rest area. I didn't stop at Blue River. I just went straight to Little Fort. A lot more range in the summer. Plus I know how to drive this area now, so it's me using the CCS adapter now. Interestingly enough, I live in Prince George. I do have the full self-driving package now. I was skeptical about it. I ended up getting enhanced autopilot, and then I upgraded to full self-driving. And by the time I started getting close to Little Fort, you can see my autopilot options suddenly started to give me the ability to pick navigate on autopilot. Now, anywhere north of Little Fort, even on Highway 97 north of Cache Creek, you just don't even have the option to navigate on autopilot at all. It's only when you get down to the southern part of the province. Hopefully that'll change in a future update, but Just showing on the screen here how I was pleasantly surprised. So that was navigate on autopilot, continuing. And now I'm at the fish trap rest area, 250 kilowatt chargers, Ministry of Transportation. And we'll just keep skipping by here. Now this was cool because when I arrived in Kamloops, the moment I approached Highway 1, suddenly I got navigate on autopilot with like the single line as well. And what I mean by the single line, I'll show you on the next screenshot here in a second. Right, so when you put it in autopilot, I'm never able to get that navigate on autopilot single line mode in northern BC. For some reason, Tesla just doesn't provide that. I don't know if the roads aren't mapped or what it is, but down here in Kamloops, I was able to do it. It would automatically switch lanes for me when I told it to go to this hotel that I was staying at, and it switched lanes. It did way more in Kamloops than it ever did in Prince George. So just showing that there, and here's me supercharging the next day, waiting for my Tesla service appointment, and there's the Tesla service agent, and he's checking out my car, doing some minor fixes. And this is a picture of Kamloops from across the road of the supercharger. Nice sunny warm day. And looking northward up there, that's towards Valemont and all that kind of thing. That's where I came from, and that's where I'm heading back. Lots of traffic on the highway, and a bunch of places where construction and whatnot, so we had single lane alternating traffic. And this is really where your Tesla Model 3 shines. Being able to pass these lines of cars after the construction zone was just a snap. Really enjoy that with the electric vehicles. Can zip past them really quickly, no problem. And beautiful views of snow peaks all year round through Highway 5. Really big mountains. So I drove from the Kamloops supercharger all the way to Valemont, and I believe I had like 20% or more charge left. We'll take a look. So you're able to drive from Valemont all the way to Kamloops and vice versa in the summertime if you have a Tesla Model 3 Long Range. And I was able to do that, not a problem at all. And then I went from Valemont all the way home. So it was kind of cool because I really only had to stop at one place to charge on the way home from Kamloops to Prince George, and that was Valemont. So kind of cool to know that. This is me arriving home after charging up at Valemont. I think I went to 90%, maybe even 85%, I think. And then me arriving home with 7% and very low battery warning, but I didn't care, I was home. And that was the end of the picture. So let's look at the Tesla 5, 17 drives over those 2 days, 1,270 kilometers traveled. Rated kilometers was 1,525. Efficiency, 83%. And if we compare to the winter time, basically the same drive, that was 64% efficiency. Summertime was 83% efficiency. So, quite a difference. Driving time was about an hour less. All that good stuff. So we'll look at the stats here. So less places I stopped. You can see here I went from home to Slim Creek. I didn't have to stop there, but I just checked out those chargers. It was just a very brief stop. But I mean, look at these efficiencies: 95%, 85%, 82%, 75, 67, 87, 79. So, on average, at least in the 80s for efficiency. So I went from home to Slim Creek to Valemont, Valemont to Little Fort to that fish trap rest area just to check it out because I had not stopped there before, and then fish trap to my hotel in Kamloops. And overall, very efficient. And just to prove how easy it is to get home the next day, from the hotel in Kamloops, I drove to Valemont. So that was 324 kilometers. And then I went from Valemont home, 303 kilometers. So in one day, 600 and close to 30 kilometers. stopping to charge once. If you count the original supercharger stop to start off my day when I had to wait for the Tesla service technician, then yeah, it's add another 30 minutes of charging or whatever. But just had to stop in Valemont, so you can get all the way from Kamloops to Prince George with just one charge at Valemont, and that was pretty cool. So just to round out this video, you can see here my sort of lifetime efficiency of my driving related to temperature. So my temperature efficiency. So from -25 to -30 Celsius, you're like 43.9, so 44% efficiency. So you're losing over 50% of your range when it's -25 and colder. -20 to -25, you're 53, so a little bit better, maybe 3% above half, so not quite half. But then it's interesting because all right, so let's say -15 all the way to +5, -15 to +5, you're like in the 60% of efficiency. But then once you get 5 degrees and higher, you're 70s and 80s. So 5 degrees up to 35 degrees, the sweet spot seems to be between 5 and 10 or 15 to 20. Even 20 to 25 is okay. And then the others are going to get about 70%. And that's sort of what I've seen after driving 44,000 kilometers in a year and a half. This is my temperature efficiency. And so again, you can see in the winter, how much range you lose. So take note, these are pretty accurate numbers. I've done a lot of driving, 2 winters now with that Model 3. And let's just take a final look. So this is my lifetime map, and this will segue into another video that I plan to make soon, and that is I was going to do a year anniversary, but I'm going to do year and a half anniversary probably at the end of June here. And you can see I've been all over the province. I've lived here in Prince George and been to Prince Rupert, been up to Dawson Creek, I've been out to Calgary, I've been down to Kamloops, I've even been sort of up here at Tumbler Ridge, of all places, and way down to Vancouver a number of times. So all over the province. It's possible to travel that with an electric vehicle. Pretty cool that BC Hydro and the Ministry of Transportation and Tesla have chargers where they have them. I'm sure this will expand. I know some are out here. They're starting to install more, and Tesla's starting to put superchargers up here towards Prince George. It's only been BC Hydro and the Ministry right now with slower 50 kilowatt chargers, but soon we'll get 250 kilowatt or faster. As well, Tesla's installing superchargers out down the Yellowhead Highway, so they'll be fast charging that way as well. So that's all stuff to look forward to. And check out a video coming soon. That'll be my year and a half review, where I go over a whole bunch of things, where I reflect on all kinds of things that I experienced in that year and a half. And that will wrap it up for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave comments if you have any questions or you want to discuss any of these points. Hope it helps you. And hey guys, it's Friday, February something, I don't know, 6th or 7th, something like that. And we are going to do a grand tour of a whole bunch of charging stations. Okay, I'm not going to spend time and make you read them all, but 1,071 kilometers, many hours of driving and charging and whatnot. So that's what we're doing. We're going to use the C-Tech CCS charger and CHAdeMO and give you guys some stats about charging in the wintertime and taking this route. I haven't done half of this route before. I'm going down Highway 5 from Valemont down through to Kamloops, and I'm going to try fast chargers. So here we go in the middle of February. All right, we are here at the BC Hydro charger in McBride. We are charging up this car. We're down to like 16% state of charge, so this should be a good test. This is our CTEC CCS charger. Green means good. We're rocking this charge. Let's go see what the charge rate is in here. And looking at this, we're getting 32. Let's kill some of the heat like I talked about before. And see what kind of charge rate we get. We're at 16%. I guess I could see it in the main view there. 36 kilowatts. See if this bad boy ramps up at all. I'll take a quick look at the machine just to see if there's any difference between how many kilowatts it's putting out and this 36. So 36, it is kind of cold out here, lots of snow, as you can see. It's like -5 or something, and 341 volts, 42 kilowatts, so some difference there. Take one more look since we literally just started charging. See if this gets better. 36. All right, everybody, we are here at the Valemont BC Hydro charger. Gonna try charging up with that CTEC charger again. Green is as good as gold. It's getting more chilly out here. Probably can't see anything, but there's pretty big mountains here. Maybe I'll link some other videos here. It's usually a very beautiful spot. Anyway, let's see what kind of charge rate we get here. So we are at about 35% state of charge. We are starting off at 44 kilowatts out here. See what it is in the car. Out there was 40 something. This is 36 in here. And let's see what happens. It's ramping up. I turn off seat heater if I turn off cabin heat, and then that bad boy back on. Can we get up to the 40s? Can we do it? Come on, do it. See what the temperature is, -6. 34% state charge. We're at 38 kilowatts. Pretty soon it'll ramp up into the 40s. Anyway, that's Valemont. Hey guys, back here again. BC Hydro charger. This time, there's a lot of snow here. This is Blue River. Roll up the carpets, folks. It's 9:30 at night-ish, 9 or 10, whatever. And there's like over there 1,001 pickup trucks with snowmobiles. Like, we're talking the whole place is loaded. Anyway, let's see what kind of kilowatts we're getting here. 32. Let's see if this ramps up. A bit colder here. .45 kilowatts over there. Yeah, let's check inside. Again, using the CCS adapter from CTEC. Very consistent charging on these BC Hydro chargers. And we are getting 37/38 kilowatts. This CTEC charger does a really good job. It gets better charging rates than the Tesla Chatamo so far. Hello once again, everyone. We are here at Little Fort using the CTEC CCS adapter. I believe these are 50 kilowatt ABB. Asia Brown Bovary, I believe, is the name of the company. And doesn't say the amount of kilowatts, I think. Oh, maybe that's 24. I don't know. We will see what it says inside. But there's the CCS. And here's my dirty Tesla. I'm driving in this winter weather. And let's see what we're getting inside here. It's pretty mild. Fair amount of snow out here, though. And what's the story in here? 35 kilowatts, so not too bad. Sure, it'll ramp up into the 40s, just like the BC Hydro chargers, but looking good. All right, guys, we're here at the Electrify Canada, charging with the C-Tech CCS charger, and it looks like it's charging. Canadian Tire, Kamloops. All right, first time trying this one, and let's see, is this giving us any stats about charge rate? Just says charging. Come on, show me something useful here. I'll check in the car in just a second, but it's asking about a receipt. All right, anyway, let's look in here. It should be going up to 350 kilowatts on that machine, but I know it's not going to be that in the car. But just curious with this adapter, what the deal is. Huh. So we're only getting 35 kilowatts. Interesting. That's not very much. Let's turn off our heating and go back. Our state of charge is 21%. The temperature outside, 0 degrees. I know it's really hard to see, but 0. And not going very fast. All right, we are here, Petro Canada. 350 kilowatt, Chatham's 100. DC fast charger in Kamloops, and pretty big station here. Highway 1 is right here. We're right near the Costco, and I have no idea if this is gonna, what? It's flashing green. Okay, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. We got this debug log session going here. And 42 kilowatts active power. So I'm gonna have to work with C-Tech. I think what's happening is, I think the Tesla thinks this is a Chatamo adapter, and the Tesla apparently is capping out, it's asking for 50 kilowatts, something like that. So C-Tech's aware. I'm gonna work with techs there, and they're gonna see if they can get a firmware upgrade to get this going faster. But anyway, let's see what we have inside the car. So far, we've had pretty good success with this adapter. The only charging station now that I've tested that doesn't work is the Delta Ministry of Transportation chargers. And if I turn off heating and seat warmer, let's see what kind of charge rate we're going to get. Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to the Electrify Canada and BC Hydro. Eventually, I'm sure it'll peak up into the 40s. So there you have it, people. Currently, you're not going to get better than Chatamo speeds with this adapter until a firmware update. Alright guys, so just as a bonus clip, I noticed the Chatamo here is 100 kilowatt. Now, pretty sure the Tesla adapter is only rated to 50. So we are going to see what kind of rate we get real quick here, just because I'm really curious if the car will request more. 42. Yeah, see, I don't think it's going to ask for more than 50, even though if your car requested it, it would go up to 100. So c'est la vie. Oh Canada, Petro Canada. Hey everybody, so we are here at the Kamloops supercharger site. Pretty snowy day out, so not too much scenery, but these are, I believe, V3 superchargers, I believe. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Let's see what kind of speed we're getting. It was at 1 something, but it slowed down. But anyway, that's what it is, 84. Hey everybody, quick comment here. We are in Blue River at the BC Hydro 50 kilowatt charger. Tons of snow here. I mean, we're talking piles that are about 10 feet tall of snow. Snowmobile country. And that's the hotel that I showed, about 30 pickup trucks, all with snowmobiles. I have some video clips where I came back today and they're all out in the mountains. Anyway, redneck country here. So one cool thing about whoever set this up, they have the cables are on this like metal thing, like you see at some gas stations. And why that's really cool is it keeps the cables all nice and neat. They don't just flop down. So they're held up here, both sides. Whoever did this setup, great job. I think that should become the standard for everywhere. We're here in McBride. Just got here from Valemont, and you can see we're on low battery. It is minus 11 on the highway, 5% left. Sentry mode's off, everything's off. It's super windy, super cold. Had to slow down to 90 kilometers an hour on a 100 kilometer an hour highway just to keep my buffer going here. But we're gonna charge now. All right guys, so we've arrived home with 10%. Is that gonna focus in on that? Yeah, 10% battery. It is minus 17 degrees Celsius here. Look at that. Why are my wheels making that noise? I'm parked in the garage. That's pretty weird. Anyway, battery is low. We have 10% charge left. It was really cold driving home. You do lose that range, so always good to have a good buffer when you plan your long distance trips, and have a great night. So charging here at the Fish Trap charging area. Nice little gazebo here and some bathrooms tucked away behind there. 250 kilowatts. This is like a huge truck stop here. Check this out. You can barely squeeze in here.